This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather Ho there, it's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. Yeah, you'd be like, wait a minute, when was the last time you did it on this day? A brand new on this date being taped in 2023. The last one was August 11th. Ironically, the past 15 days I haven't had it on this day. Although I did it on this day, like in 2021 and 2022 for most days. Obviously, ran out of fresh ideas. But anyhow, let's not get to that. Anyway, so a big winning streak started in Premier League in 2017 with Manchester City. As you see on the graphic, with Man City with their 20 consecutive wins. If you're watching this, if you're doing the audio thing, then I gotta explain it to you. But anyhow, so Man City defeated Bournemouth 2-1 on goals by Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling late in added time to make it 2-1 Man City at Bournemouth. Now you'll be thinking, okay, well that's just a match. So what? Well, what if I told you that that was the start of one of the greatest winning streaks and the longest Premier League winning streak ever? Well, you would be correct. Anyhow, so Man City went on this gigantic run. On September 9th, they were hosting Liverpool and crushed the crap out of Liverpool 5-0. With 2 goals by Gabriel Jesus, 2 by Leroy Sané, and 1 by Aguero! And all that. And then the next week on September 16th, they went to Watford and beat the crap out of Watford 6-0. Aguero with the hat-trick, Gabriel Jesus with a goal, Otamendi scoring, and Raheem Sterling off of a penalty. Then they went home to face Crystal Palace and won 5-0. As Sané, Sterling, Aguero, well, Sterling with 2, Aguero, and Delph scored. So Man City not only had won 3 straight, well, that stretch they scored 16 and conceded 0. And doing it against Liverpool, that was huge. They went to Chelsea. Well, Chelsea was a better team. Man City won the game 1-0. Kevin De Bruyne had scored in the 67th minute. And then Man City hosted Stoke October 14th and won 7-2. 6 different members of the Sky Blues scored. Gabriel Jesus scored twice. Sterling scored. David Silva, Fernandinho, Leroy Sané, and Bernardo Silva. Man City would host Burnley October 21st, 2017 and won 3-0. Aguero, Sané, and Otamendi scoring. And then they had their first tough match. They had won 7 in a row. But they had faced West Brom, and West Brom was not having any of it. Rodriguez scored to tie the game at 1, but Fernandinho and Sterling made it 3-1. A late goal and added time made it 3-2 for Man City, and they struggled. West Brom told them that they weren't going to be bullied. Man City would take on Arsenal November 2017 and win 3-1. De Bruyne, Aguero, and Gabriel Jesus scored. Man City beat Leicester 2-0. Gabriel Jesus and De Bruyne put up goals. Then they went to Huddersfield and won 2-1. They actually gave up the first goal on an own goal late in the first half. Fortunately, Aguero and Sterling scored to make it 2-1, and the streak continued. And then they went home to face Southampton. Southampton tied it at 1. Sterling had to score again in the 90th minute, late in the 90th minute, to make it 2-1. So Man City now have won 12 in a row. Then they faced West Ham, winning 2-1. They were down 1-0 on a goal, but Man City, Otamendi, and David Silva made it 2-1. Then they went to Newcastle. Man U, my team. Rashford scored to tie the game at 1 late in the first half, but Otamendi scored in the 54th minute. Fortunately, though, that was the winning goal. Man City went to Swansea, went to Wales to beat Swansea. David Silva with 2, De Bruyne and Aguero scoring. Man City versus Tottenham on home turf, December 2017. Well, 3 days after the Swansea game. They win 4-1. Gundogan and De Bruyne scored once, Sterling twice. Man City would then host Bournemouth and win 4-0. Aguero putting up 2, Sterling and Danilo scoring. And then Man City struggled going to Newcastle December 27, 2017, winning 1-0 on a Raheem Sterling goal. The winning streak would actually end December 31st, 2017, as Crystal Palace held Man City to a tie, despite the fact that in the first matchup, Man City won 5-0. Man City did go on to beat Watford 3 days later, 3-1, before losing to Liverpool in a famous 4-3 game on January 14th, 2018. So their undefeated streak ended at 20 within the Premier League, 19 wins and a tie. So yeah, Liverpool did their job and got revenge for that 5-0 shake-up. Man City would not let this ruin them, as they were the 2018 Premier League champions, setting a lot of records. Now you'd be thinking to yourself, well, why does the 20 wins have to do with it? Well, there were a couple of other competitions that they were in. They were in the EFL Cup, the English Football League Cup. Basically, if you're within the first 4 tiers of English soccer, then your clubs would play in this tournament. The FA Cup has teams from all over England, like 10 different tiers and all that. But the EFL is exclusive to 4 tiers. Man City would be drawn into the third round after all they were in the Premier League. So they faced West Brom September 20th, 2017, and won 2-1. Jakob scored for West Brom, but Sané scored 2 goals in the game. And then October 2017, they hosted Wolverhampton. They hosted Wolves. It was 0-0. They had to go to extra time and then penalties. And Man City beat Wolves because Wolves can only score 1 penalty. Man City would then go to the quarterfinals December 2017 against Leicester and have to win on penalties against the Foxes. Bernardo Silva scored for Man City in the 26th minute, but Leicester on a penalty with the last few kicks of the game before Jamie Vardy tied the game at 1. On penalties, Vardy and Mahrez missed. Man City would actually go on to win the League Cup against Arsenal, but those were the only 3 games during the streak. And then you had Champions League. Man City was in a group with Donetsk from Ukraine, Napoli from Italy, and Feyenoord from Holland. Within the streak, within the Champions League, they would play all their games. Man City would beat Feyenoord 4-0 on the road, as was it John Stones? John Stones put up a pair of goals. Aguero and Gabriel Jesus scored. Man City would host Donetsk and win 2-0. De Bruyne and Sterling, September 2017. Then October 2017, they hosted Napoli. Sterling and Gabriel Jesus scored. And then they went back to Napoli November 1st, 2017, winning 4-2. Otamendi, Stones, Aguero, and Sterling scoring. Man City would host Feyenoord and win 1-0 on a goal by Raheem Sterling. They would actually lose to Donetsk 2-1, which was shocking. So, yeah, during that Premier League streak, they did lose a Champions League game. Unfortunately for them, Liverpool would take them out in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, so they didn't have a chance for the treble, unlike 5 years later, when they achieved the treble of winning the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Major Cup, and Champions and domestic championships, and the Continental Championship, that being the Champions League. So, Man City did it. They won 18 in a row. A few of the English Football League trophy. And then, Champions League, they did quite well. But, of course, that 20-game winning streak was within domestic, I suppose. But, yeah, it was shocking how good Man City could be. And how pissed I am as a Man U fan. But, whatever. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond.